EasyMWeb allows you to issue vehicle work orders for both routine and emergency maintenance, and view maintenance events for vehicles sorted either by vehicle, the date on which they're due, or by the usage at which they're due. The main part of EasyMWeb from which you issue vehicle work orders is accessed by clicking on Service Due under the Vehicle Service drop-down list on the left side of the screen. After you click on Service Due, you'll be taken to the following screen, where you'll see a list of all the vehicles you've entered into EasyMWeb so far. This screen shows a list of all the vehicles you've entered so far because here you can view maintenance events sorted by vehicle. Here you can select a vehicle and view the maintenance events for it, and if you wish, create a work order for a scheduled maintenance event, or for an unscheduled emergency maintenance. In the following sections, this guide will explain how to view maintenance events for vehicles and how to create work orders for vehicle maintenance. As mentioned earlier in this tutorial, there are three ways to view maintenance events for vehicles, sorted either by vehicle, by the date on which it's due, or by the usage at which it's due. To view vehicle maintenance events sorted by vehicle, first you need to go to the section of EasyMWeb where you view vehicle maintenance. To do this, click on the By Vehicle tab at the top of the screen. This will take you to the part of EasyMWeb where you can see the maintenance events sorted by vehicle, which is what we're looking at right now. Notice that there is a list of all the vehicles you've entered into EasyMWeb so far. To see the list of maintenance events for a vehicle, you must first select a vehicle by clicking on its vehicle name in the leftmost column of this list, called Vehicle Name. The vehicle name is shown in blue text. Use the vehicle number in the Vehicle Number column to identify which vehicle you are selecting. The vehicle number uniquely identifies each vehicle within EasyMWeb. Once you've selected a vehicle by clicking on its vehicle name, all of the maintenance events for that vehicle will be shown below. For each maintenance event, you can see the following information: the work order number. If a work order has been created for a maintenance event, the work order number will show in this column. Each work order number uniquely identifies a particular work order. To whom the work order is assigned. If a work order has been created, this is the person to whom the work order is assigned. The service type. This is the type of maintenance which this maintenance event is for. Each service type prescribes a given set of services to be performed at a frequency in months and/or in usage miles, specified by the user. Each service in turn specifies a set of operations required to complete the service, as well as the materials and replacement parts needed. The frequency in months at which the maintenance is performed. This is the frequency at which this maintenance event is performed in months. The due date of the maintenance. This is the date on which the maintenance event is due. The frequency and usage at which the maintenance is performed. This is the frequency at which this maintenance event is performed in usage miles. The number of miles until the next maintenance. This is the amount of usage miles remaining before the maintenance event will become due. You can also jump to the maintenance events for a specific vehicle if you know its unique vehicle number or its license plate number, or if that vehicle has a barcode which you've printed for it. On the right side of the screen is a quick search box which you can use to jump to the maintenance for a specific vehicle if you know its vehicle number or its license plate number. To search by vehicle number or manufacturer serial number, first click on one of the circles labeled Vehicle Number or License Plate to search by vehicle number or license plate number respectively. Then, depending on what you just selected, type the vehicle number or license plate number of the vehicle in the box immediately below and click on the small Go button. All of the maintenance events for the vehicle which you specified will be shown. You can also jump to the maintenance events for a specific vehicle by scanning a barcode. This is done using the Scan a Barcode box, which is also on the right side of the screen. To search by scanning a barcode, first you will need to select whether the barcode you're scanning contains a vehicle number or a license plate number. To do this, click on one of the circles labeled Vehicle Number or License Plate. Then click in the box immediately below and swipe the barcode with your scanner. Then click on the small Go button. All of the maintenance events for the vehicle which you scanned will be shown. EasyMWeb allows you to create work orders for both routine scheduled maintenance events and for unscheduled repairs, such as in the event of an unexpected vehicle breakdown. First, we'll describe how to create a work order for a routine scheduled maintenance event. To create a work order for a routine scheduled maintenance event, first you need to view maintenance events either by vehicle, by date, or by usage. In this discussion, we'll show how to create a scheduled work order while viewing maintenance by vehicle. Once you're at the screen where you view maintenance events by vehicle, select a vehicle by clicking on its vehicle name in the leftmost column of this list called Vehicle Name. The vehicle name is shown in blue text. Use the vehicle number in the Vehicle Number column to identify which vehicle you're selecting. The vehicle number uniquely identifies each vehicle within EZM Web. Once you've selected a vehicle by clicking on its vehicle name, all of the maintenance events for that vehicle will be shown below. Any maintenance events for which you've already created a work order have the work order number listed in the Work Order Number column, which is the leftmost column in the list of maintenance events. Conversely, a maintenance event for which a work order has not been created will not have a work order number. To create a new work order number for a maintenance event, first select the maintenance event for which you want to create a work order by clicking in one of the circles in the column immediately to the right of the Work Order Number column. Then click on the Create or Edit Work Order button, which will open up the following screen. This is the screen at which you create a work order. As you can see, there are many data items on this screen, some of which are automatically filled in and some of which you have to provide data for. The work order screen is divided into several sections, which we'll cover in order, going from top to bottom. The first data area on the work order screen is the Vehicle Unit Data area. This data area displays some basic properties of the vehicle for which you're creating the work order, and are all filled in automatically with the information you provided when you entered the vehicle into EZM Web. Vehicle Name. Here, the vehicle name, which specifies the type of the vehicle for which you're creating the work order, is displayed. Vehicle Number. Here, the vehicle number which you've chosen to uniquely identify the vehicle within EZM Web is displayed. The vehicle number may or may not correspond with your own internal cataloging system you use for identifying your vehicles. License plate. Here, the license plate for the vehicle for which you're creating a work order is displayed. VIN number. Here, the vehicle's VIN number is displayed. Reference notes. Here, any extra information that doesn't fall under any of the other data areas is noted. The vehicle reference notes are entered when the vehicle is created in EZM Web. Model. This is the make of the vehicle. Year built. This is the year in which the vehicle was built. Transmission. This is the type of transmission the vehicle has. The next data area on the work order is the Contact or Customer area. If the vehicle for which you're creating the work order belongs to a customer for whom you're performing maintenance, the name of the customer will automatically be filled in here, as well as their phone number, address, city, state, zip code, and the country in which they're located. The next data area on the work order screen is the Service data area. This shows some properties about what kind of maintenance the vehicle requires and what particular maintenance is being performed in the work order you're creating. Profile. This is the service profile for the vehicle for which you're creating the work order. The service profile is a complete description of the maintenance for a vehicle. Type. This is the type of maintenance that's being performed. Frequency and elapsed time. This is the frequency at which this maintenance type is performed in months. Miles since last service. This is the amount of usage miles that have been logged since the last time the vehicle received the service type which this work order is for. To the right of these four data items, there is a small chart showing the difference between when the maintenance was scheduled and when the maintenance is actually being performed. The service date, odometer reading, and days since last service, where the vehicle is actually scheduled for maintenance, are all shown along with the actual points when the work is being done. The actual odometer reading is simply filled in with the current mileage for the vehicle as recorded in EZM Web. If the actual mileage for the vehicle differs from what is shown here, in other words, there are miles that have not yet been logged, you can click in the actual odometer reading box and type in the current mileage. A usage log entry for that vehicle will automatically be created that is the difference between what has already been recorded in EZM Web and what you entered into the actual odometer reading box. The next data area on the work order screen is Work Order Notes and Approval. Notes. This is where you enter any additional notes about this maintenance. The checkbox to the left of the box where you type the notes will automatically be checked to indicate that you've entered some notes. Exception. This is where you indicate that there are changes made to what is usually prescribed in this maintenance. The checkbox next to the field in which you type exceptions will be automatically checked to indicate that there are exceptions for this work order. Assign to. This is where you select the person to whom the responsibility for performing this work is assigned. Select the person to whom you want to assign the work from the drop-down list. Performed by. This is where the person who actually performs the work is selected. Select the person who is actually performing the work from the drop-down list. Approved by. This is where you indicate the person who reviewed the work upon completion. Select the person who reviewed the work from the drop-down list. The next data area on the work order screen is Work Order Cost. This is where you enter the costs associated with performing the work prescribed in the work order. Total labor in hours. This is the total amount of hours spent performing the labor prescribed in the work order. Labor cost. This is the total cost for the labor. Vehicle downtime in hours. This is the total amount of hours that the vehicle was down for repairs. Parts and materials cost. This is the total cost of the parts and materials used in the maintenance. The amount in this field is automatically calculated from the materials used in the maintenance and the parts you have chosen to replace. Lastly, at the bottom of the work order screen, you can view the operations performed and the materials and replacement parts used in each service included in the work order, as well as a checklist of onboard supplies needed in the work order. First, to see what operations, materials, and parts are included in a service, you must select the service from the list of services. In the list of services, the service code for each service is listed along with a short description of the service under the Service Description column. To see the operations, materials, and parts for a service, click on that service's code, shown in blue text under the Service Code column. Once you've clicked on the service code, then you can view the operations, materials, and parts for that service. Look in the lower left corner of the screen for a box that has three options: Materials, Operations, and Parts to Maintain. Click on Materials, Operations, or Parts to Maintain in the box at the bottom left corner of the work order screen. Depending on what you clicked, the Materials, Operations, and Parts to Maintain will then show to the right of that box. You can also view the checklist of onboard supplies by clicking on Checklist of Onboard Supplies above the list of services. Once you save the work order, you can edit the materials, operations, and parts to maintain for each service included in the work order. Once you've reviewed all of the information in the work order and want to save it, click on the Next button at the bottom of the work order screen to save the work order, or you can click on the Cancel button if you've changed your mind and no longer want to create the work order. After clicking on the Save and Next button, the work order will be created, and you will see the following screen. This screen is similar to the one earlier, except that you can do a few more things. You can print the work order. You can also change the materials, operations, and parts to maintain in each service. And you can also add other ad hoc items you want to use in the maintenance. There are two ways you can print the work order. You can click on the Print button at the bottom of the screen, or you can use the Reports box at the right side of the screen. To print the full work order using the Reports box, begin by clicking on the circle called Full Report to select it. Then click on the small Print button in the lower right corner of the box. After selecting your printer, the work order will print. When you select Full Report, the work order that prints out contains all of the materials, operations, and parts, and other items included in each service in the work order. You can also use the Reports box to print a work order that only contains the materials, operations, or parts required in each service in the work order. To do this, select one of the circles called Materials, Operations, or Parts in the Reports box, and then click on the Print button at the lower right. Lastly, you can choose the materials, operations, parts to maintain, and other items that are to be included in each service in the work order. First, to change what operations, materials, and parts are included in a service, you must select the service from the list of services. To change the operations, materials, and parts for a service, click on that service's code shown in blue text under the service code column. Once you've clicked on the service code, then you can view and change the operations, materials, and parts for that service. Look in the lower left corner of the screen for a box that has three options: Materials, Operations, Parts to Maintain, and Other Items. Click on Materials. Once you've clicked there, a list of all the materials in the service you selected will display to the right. For each material in the list, its unique identification number is shown, the material name is shown, and the quantity used in the maintenance is shown. To add a new material, use the Add or Edit Material box to the right to add a new material to the list. First, enter the name of the material you want to add. Do this by clicking in the Material box and typing in the name. EasyMWeb will automatically generate a drop-down list for materials in your inventory whose name matches what you've typed so far. When you see the material you want to add, then click on that material in the drop-down list. Then enter the quantity of the material you want to use. Keep in mind that only the materials you entered into EasyMWeb so far for vehicle maintenance are available to be entered here. Once you've entered the material and the quantity, then click on the Save button to add the material to the work order. You can also edit a material that you've already entered. You can change both the material and the quantity used. To do this, locate the material in the list which you want to edit. Then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Edit column. Once you click on the small button, the information about the material you're editing will appear in the Add or Edit Material box. In the Add or Edit Material box, edit any of the information you wish, and then click on the Save button. The material will be updated with the new information. To delete a material from the service, locate the material in the list, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Delete column. Click on the small button. The material to the left of the Delete button you clicked will be deleted from the list. You can also change the operations performed in the service. To do this, first look in the lower left corner of the screen for the box with four options: Materials, Operations, Parts to Maintain, and Other Items. Click on Operations. Once you've clicked there, a list of all the operations in the service will display to the right. For each operation in the list, the sequence or step number is shown, the operation name is shown, and a detailed description of the operation is shown. To add a new operation, use the Add or Edit Operation box to the right to add a new operation to the list. First, enter the step number of the operation. In other words, if it's the first, second, fourth step, etc. Do this by clicking in the Sequence Number box and typing in a number. Then select the operation you want to add from the Operation drop-down box. Keep in mind that only the operations you entered into EasyMWeb so far for vehicle maintenance are available to be entered here. Once you've entered the sequence number and selected the operation, then click on the Save button to add the operation to the service. You can also edit an operation that you've already entered. You can change the sequence number, the operation description, or the operation itself. To do this, locate the operation in the list which you want to edit, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Edit column. Once you click on the Edit button, the information about the operation you're editing will appear in the Add or Edit Operations box. In the Add or Edit Operations box, edit any of the information you wish, and then click on the Save button. The operation will be updated with the new information. To delete an operation from the service, locate the operation in the list, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Delete column. Click on the small button. The operation to the left of the Delete button you clicked will be deleted from the list. You can also change the replacement parts used in the service. Unlike materials that are automatically deducted from inventory when the work order is completed, replacement parts are only deducted from inventory if the parts actually needed to be replaced during the maintenance following an inspection. It is common in a service, for example, to combine a replacement part with an operation that specifies that the existing part be inspected and replaced if damaged. To change the replacement parts in the service, first look in the lower left corner of the screen for a box that has four options: Materials, Operations, Parts to Maintain, and Other Items. Click on Parts to Maintain. Once you've clicked there, a list of all the replacement parts in the service will display to the right. For each part in the list, its unique identification number is shown, the part name is shown, the quantity to be replaced if necessary is shown, and the serial number is shown. To add a new replacement part, use the Add or Edit Part box to the right to add a new part to the list. First, enter the name of the replacement part you want to add. Do this by clicking in the Part box and typing in the name. EasyMWeb will automatically generate a drop-down list for replacement parts in your inventory whose name matches what you've typed so far. When you see the part you want to add, then click on that part in the drop-down list. Then enter the quantity of the part you would need to replace in the instance of a part failure or failed inspection. Then enter the serial number of the part you're inspecting and possibly replacing in the serial number box. Keep in mind that only the parts you entered into EasyMWeb so far for vehicle maintenance are available to be entered here. Once you've entered the part, the serial number, and the quantity, then click on the Save button to add the part to the service. You can also edit a replacement part that you've already entered. You can change both the part and the quantity. To do this, locate the part in the list which you want to edit, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Edit column. Once you click on the Edit button, the information about the material you're editing will appear in the Add or Edit Part box. In the Add or Edit Part box, edit any of the information you wish, and then click on the Save button. The part will be updated with the new information. To delete a part from the service, locate the part in the list, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Delete column. Click on the small button. The part to the left of the Delete button you clicked will be deleted from the list. Lastly, you can add other ad hoc items to the service that aren't already listed in your inventory. To do this, first look in the lower left corner of the screen for the box that has 4 options: Materials, Operations, Parts to Maintain, and Other Items. Click on Other Items. Once you've clicked there, a list of all the other items in the work order will display to the right. For each item in the list, the name of the item is shown, the quantity is shown, and the cost of the item is shown. To add a new other item, use the Add or Edit Other Item box to the right to add a new item to the list. First, enter the name of the item you want to add in the Item box. Then enter the quantity of that item you're going to use in the Quantity field. Then enter the total cost of the item or items into the Cost field. The cost which you enter here will automatically be added to the parts and materials cost on the work order. Once you've entered all of this information, click on the Save button to the lower right to add the item to the work order. You can also edit an item that you've already entered. You can change the name of the item, the quantity, and the cost. To do this, locate the item in the list which you want to edit, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Edit column. Once you click on the small button, the information about the item you're editing will appear in the Add or Edit Other Item box. In the Add or Edit Other Item box, edit any of the information you wish, and then click on the Save button. The item will be updated with the new information. To delete an item from the service, locate the item in the list, and then look to the right of it until you encounter a small button under the Delete column. Click on the small button. The item to the left of the Delete button you clicked will be deleted from the list. Once you've finished entering all of the information in the work order, click on the Save button at the bottom of the screen to save it. Creating unscheduled work orders for vehicle maintenance in EasyMWeb is similar to creating scheduled work orders. To create a work order for an unscheduled maintenance event for a vehicle, first you need to view vehicle maintenance events either by vehicle, by date, or by usage. In this discussion, we'll show you how to create an unscheduled work order while viewing maintenance by vehicle. Once you're at the screen where you view maintenance events by vehicle, notice that there's an Unscheduled Work Order button at the lower right corner of the screen. Click on the Unscheduled Work Order button. You'll be taken to the following screen. This screen is very similar to the one at which you create a scheduled work order. The two main differences are you need to select a vehicle for which you're creating the unscheduled work order here, and number 2, you need to select the service profile and service type in order to specify what kind of maintenance you want to perform. To select the vehicle for which you want to create the work order, use the Select Vehicle drop-down selection box at the upper left corner of the screen. Once you select the vehicle, all of the details for it will be automatically filled in. If you're maintaining the vehicle you selected for a customer, that customer's details will automatically be shown in the Contact or Customer Data area to the right. After selecting the vehicle for which you're creating the unscheduled work order, then you need to select the type of maintenance you want to perform using the Profile and Type drop-down selection boxes. You can select whichever service profile and service type which has the maintenance you want to perform. In many cases, however, there is no existing service profile and service type that contains the maintenance that addresses the particular breakdown you've experienced. Because of this, you may want to create a blank service profile, service type, and service with no materials, operations, or replacement parts in it. You would typically call all three of these something like unscheduled repair. This blank service profile, service type, and service are then selected when you want to create an unscheduled work order. You would then add any materials, operations, and replacement parts to the unscheduled repair service which you need at the time of the creation of the work order. After you've selected the vehicle and the type of maintenance you want to perform, then click on the Next button at the bottom of the screen, or click on the Cancel button if you've changed your mind and no longer want to create the unscheduled work order. After clicking the Next button, the work order will be saved and you'll be taken to the following screen. Just as when you create a scheduled work order, at this screen you can change the materials, operations, and replacement parts, as well as add other ad hoc items to the work order. If you chose a blank service profile and service type that doesn't contain any materials, operations, or replacement parts, then you can add them here. You may also use the Print button and Reports box at the right side of the screen to print the work order. Click on the Save button at the bottom of the screen to save the work order. Once you've created a vehicle work order in EasyM Web, you may want to make some changes to it. Additionally, you'll want to close it when the work has been completed. Here we'll demonstrate how to both edit a vehicle work order and close it. To edit a vehicle work order, first you need to view maintenance events either by vehicle, by date, or by usage. In this discussion, we'll show you how to edit a work order while viewing maintenance by vehicle. Then a list of all the maintenance events for the vehicle you selected will appear below. Each maintenance event for which a work order has been created has a work order number in the work order number column. If no work order has been created for a maintenance event, no work order number is shown for it. To edit an existing work order, first locate that work order in the list of maintenance events. Then look immediately to the right of the work order number column for a column that contains small circles. Click on the circle that corresponds to the work order you want to edit, and then click on the Create or Edit Work Order button below the list of maintenance events. After clicking on the Create or Edit Work Order button, you'll be taken to the following screen where you can edit the work order. At this screen, you can change the details of the work order as well as print the work order. Once you've finished making your changes to the work order, then click on the Save button at the bottom of the screen. If you've changed your mind and do not want to make any changes to the work order, then click on the Cancel button instead. To close a work order, simply go to the screen where you edit a work order. Then locate the Close checkbox at the upper left corner of the screen. Click in the checkbox to mark it, and then click on the Save button at the bottom of the work order screen. The work order will then be closed and go into the vehicle maintenance history for EasyM Web. EasyM Web also has a feature that lets you assign multiple vehicle work orders and maintenance events to personnel quickly. You can use this feature to see all of the maintenance events for vehicles at a glance and assign multiple work orders to personnel at a single time. To use this feature, first you need to view maintenance events either by vehicle, by date, or by usage. At the lower right part of the screen, you'll see a button called Assign Work Order. After clicking on the Assign Work Order button, you'll be taken to the following screen, where you'll see a list of all of the maintenance events due for vehicles. All of the maintenance events for which a work order has already been created have a work order number in the work order number column. Those maintenance events with no work order number have not had a work order number created for them yet. If you assign somebody to a maintenance event for which no work order has yet been created, a work order will be automatically created. To assign the maintenance events or an existing work order, use the drop-down boxes on the right side of the list under the Assigned To column. You can assign multiple maintenance events or work orders. Once you've made the desired assignments, then click on the Assign button immediately below the list. To exit this section of EasyM Web without making any assignments, click on the Cancel button. EasyM Web also has a feature that allows you to see what vehicle maintenance events are due on a given day. To use this feature, first you need to view maintenance events either by vehicle, by date, or by usage. Then click on the Calendar tab. You will be taken to the following screen. At the right of the screen, you'll see a small calendar. To see a list of all the maintenance events that are due on a particular day, click on that day in the calendar. To advance the calendar 1 month forward or backward, use the small arrows at the top right and left corners of the calendar respectively. After clicking on a day in the calendar, a list of all the maintenance events due on that day will be displayed. For each maintenance event that is due, you can see the type of vehicle which the maintenance is for, the internal control number that uniquely identifies the vehicle for which the maintenance event is scheduled, and the type of maintenance. To create a work order for one of the maintenance events that is listed here, click in the circle in the rightmost column in the list which corresponds with the maintenance event to select it. Then click on the Create or Edit Work Order button below the list. This will open the work order screen in which you can enter the details about the new work order. The Vehicle Service module in EasyM Web also includes an advanced search feature that lets you search for maintenance events based on filtering criteria you enter. To use this feature, first you need to view maintenance events either by vehicle, by date, or by usage. Then click on the Search tab. You'll be taken to the following screen. In this section of EasyM Web, you can enter multiple criteria to search for maintenance events, and any maintenance events that don't match the criteria that you entered will be filtered out, leaving only those which match what you entered. The purpose of each data area on the advanced search form is as follows. Date range. Here you can select the date range in which you want to search for maintenance events. Any maintenance event falling outside the date range you select here will be omitted from your search results. The top set of 3 boxes lets you select the lower bound of the date range, while the bottom 3 let you select the upper bound. Select usage. Only maintenance events whose time until due in usage which falls within the usage range you select here will be included in your search results. Service type. This drop-down box lets you filter by the type of maintenance. Assigned to. This drop-down box lets you filter by the person to whom the maintenance is assigned. Customer name. This drop-down box lets you filter by the customer for whom you're servicing the vehicle. Only maintenance for vehicles belonging to the customer you select here will be displayed. Work order number. If you want to look for a particular work order and you know the work order number, type it here. Vehicle name. This field lets you filter by the type of vehicle or vehicle name. Only the type of vehicle that you entered here will be included in the search results. Vehicle number. If you want to filter all of the maintenance due for only one specific vehicle, and you know the vehicle number that uniquely identifies it, then you can enter it here. VIN. If you want to filter all of the maintenance due for only one specific vehicle, and you know the VIN number that uniquely identifies it, then you can enter it here. Once you've entered all of your search criteria, then click on the Search button to display the list of maintenance events you're searching for.